What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Derium's Pokemon. Going to be playing a game on PTCGO today, rocking Buzzwole, Lycanroc. It's one of my favorite decks ever. Just a lot of fun to play. And it's just, this is my comfort zone. This is just cruising for me. I've probably logged the most amount of games with this deck as far as, decks in standard format. I'm very excited for Ultra Prism when that set comes out. Going to be looking at what kind of new decks are viable in standard format with Ultra Prism. I know, I think there's like a Glaceon coming out or something like that. GX, where you can evolve on the first turn of the game and negate your opponent's abilities. So that's super cool. Definitely excited to see that in action. And just see what kind of new decks we got coming out of Ultra Prism. But until now, I am liking me some Buzzwole, Lycanroc. This deck's just fast, hard-hitting, consistent. This is a super awkward hand for me, but I am just going to parallel my opponent early and then just go ahead and end. I've got no reason to attach any of those fighting energies there. The main strategy behind this deck, I'm going to want to get a Buzzwole out and just start taking cheap knockouts early on my opponent's Ralts, and then by the time they evolve up into Gardevoir, I'm hoping that my opponent cannot get multiple Gardevoir GX into play. This Parallel City here limits my opponent's bench to only 3, so that's supposed to help me kind of with keeping my opponent's aggressive play a little limited. Usually they will go for Tapu Lele, try to Wonder Tag on the first turn of the game, and then Wonder Tag for a Bridget. The idea is, though, if I could play Parallel City on the first turn, then they can't do their... See, they've Lele'd here, and now they can't bridge it for all their Pokemon unless they've got a Field Blower in their hand, and the odds are that they're not going to have a Field Blower in their hand on the first turn of the game. So they're in a little bit of a compromising scenario here. You can see that they went for the Sycamore instead of going for a Bridget. Usually a Gardevoir deck will go for the Bridget, but instead they have to sack all these resources, which I'm super glad about, especially Max Potion. So they're probably digging for the Field Blower, yes, and then they'll want to slap down another couple of Pokemon. But you can see there the Parallel City forced my opponent to make a suboptimal play just by having to go for the Sycamore. And now they've limited my bench, so that's interesting. Shouldn't be that big of a deal, though, because I have other stadiums in my deck, not just Parallel City. And they've only got 2 Ralts down, so that's great for me on the first turn of the game. Now, I could attach my Fighting Energy to the active Buzzwole. I kind of would rather try to go for a Strong Energy and maybe a Strong Energy and maybe a Regirock EX so that maybe I can get the knockout. And I did, so I did get it. I was wagering for that, kind of thinking that would really help set my pace for this game, and I'd be able to really make a strong lead here by taking this early knockout. So we got the Strong Energy. Regirock's ability, Regipower, raises my damage by 10 damage. Strong Energy raises it by 20. So with Jet Punch, I could do 60 damage to the active Ralts and 30 damage to the bench Ralts. So this is why this deck is so good. It's just such an aggressive deck. And I've got Brooklet Hill to boot off the Abyssal hand here, so I can counter that, go ahead and grab myself another benched Pokemon, probably another Rockruff, and now you can just see how aggressive this deck is. I mean, my goodness. The Parallel City, you can see there, also adds to the aggression, because not only am I taking prizes here, my opponent was only able to get 2 routes into play because of my turn 1 Parallel City, and now I just took one out on the second turn of the game. So even though they're going to get a Gardevoir here, this Gardevoir will probably not be able to knock me out. I think, they got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. They could knock me out if they get this Fairy, a double colorless, and a Choice Band. If they get all of those things, then they can knock me out. So that would be tough, but that's asking a lot. My opponent does not have their own Octillery in play yet. So that would be asking a lot off this N to 6. They would need a double colorless and a Choice Band. And I think that they're probably not going to hit it. The deck is still pretty big. My opponent's got 33 cards in deck. These decks only play like 2 choice band. You could tell by the attaching to the Lele, they're conceding that they did not get the knockout on my Buzzwole. So Buzzwole is going to be able to go in here for a big knockout, which is great. I think I am just going to go for the Knuckle Impact. I think if I Knuckle Impact, that's 160, 180, 200, and then Choice Band is going to fix that math, so I do not need to use my GX attack yet. I'm going to Max Elixir again, and we connected. Awesome. So we're going to load that onto my Buzzwole here, put the Floatstone on Regirock since he's a big boy. He's got a retreat cost of 3, and we're going to Abyssal Hand for 4. So you guys are getting, like, this is this deck, like the essence of this deck. I mean, this is doing everything it's supposed to be doing right now. This deck is running smoothly, drawing everything it needs to draw. And you can see when Buzzwole Lycanroc just draws all the cards it needs to. When you have Octillery out, just using Abyssal Hand, continuing to refuel your hand turn after turn, being able to stop my opponent early with that Parallel City. Now they are kind of scrambling. They don't have a lot of good options, and there's nothing really they can do to slow me down. Like, they're going to go up with Vulpix here and Beacon, but I've got Guzma in my hand. We play 4 Guzma in this deck just to be able to switch my Buzzwole back into the active position. I could take out that Tapu Lele very easily, and then I can easily just go in with the Lycanroc GX, Bloodthirsty Eyes, and bring up a weak non-EX Pokemon for game. So my opponent's sticking it out here. They think that maybe there's something that they can do to be able to pull this off, but I don't think so. I'm just going to go ahead and Guzma the Tapu Lele. I wouldn't be surprised if my opponent, probably is going to scoop here quickly, and there they go. So they went ahead and scooped it up. But anyways, that's Buzzwole Lycanroc. That's probably one of the quickest games I've played with Buzzwole Lycanroc in a long time. Just got out the gates early, doing everything that deck was supposed to do. I'll show off the list for anybody who's interested here real fast. But anyways, thank you all for watching the gameplay video. Make sure to let me know, what do you guys think of gameplay videos on the main channel? Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Deuces. Peace.